Hey, good morning, everybody. Guy Ferdman here. Thought I would start you off with a gorgeous view of the Pacific Ocean. It's actually June gloom here in full effect, so we have had a lot of gray days in San Diego, but today is an absolute stunner, and thought that'd be a nice little picture there. So, with that said, let me just take a look here. The connection seems to be a little funky. I can't change. All right, well, let's check this out anyway. So what did I want to talk to you guys about today? I come on these things without really ever having an agenda. I kind of get a thought in mind, and then I kind of riff off on it. And I want to talk about a few things here. And the first thing is a thing I'm going to call the law of allowing. And this is coming off the back of reading The Surrender Experiment with Michael A. Singer. And if you haven't read any of his books, I definitely encourage you to. Surrender Experiment is a beautiful one, and one of my other favorites, probably one of the favorite books I've read in a long time, is Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and that's like should be the new modern Bible. It's that good. Anyway, in Surrender Experiment, it's exactly what it sounds like. He talks a lot about just allowing, right? Like just allowing the flow of life. And in the last 7-8 months of my life, it's been pretty miraculous since I did Vipassana or Vipassana. People seem to interchangeably use those. And what's kind of opened up in my life, and he describes his experiences early on with meditation, with spirituality, and some pretty existential things that happened to him. And I would echo those experiences after my own 10-day meditation sit. So I wanted to kind of offer you guys, I feel really different in the last 7 months, and it's definitely because of this allowing that I feel different. And all that really means is just being with what's so, not being in an argument with what arises in your life at any given time, right? Because I think every moment, everything that comes to you, we can't plan life. There were billions of years of life before you. There will be billions of years of life after you, and you're just part of that flow. So if that's the case, we have this beautiful mind that also gets in the way of life's flow often, right? And we think that we know better, and that life should, could, or would show up differently than it is. And I think if you want to see, if you're ever not present, or if you're stuck or in pain, right? So like everything that comes at you is pretty much an opportunity, or it's a trap. That's kind of like in any given moment, people come to your life. It's good, then it's bad. Some situations happening, it's good, then it's bad, or vice versa, it comes in bad, then it's good. So again, it's either like an opportunity or it's kind of a trap. And you're in a trap, and like one way to know if you're in the trap is to kind of check in with your own thought patterns and find out if you're stuck in any kind of a loop with the should, the coulds, and the woulds. I should be somewhere else, but I could be somewhere else, but I would be doing something different if, right? Like all that kind of stuff. And that just lets you know that you're not present. You're in an argument with what's so, and now you're not seeing the opportunity. All you're really getting out of that situation is a trap. So if you find yourself in those kind of patterns, know that you're really not allowing and in the flow of what life is. Now, like I said, life's been around for a long time before you. Life will be around a long time after you. And billions of years of evolution. Life never needed the mind to come in and say, hey, mind, please let me know how things are supposed to go around here. Life is perfect, whole, and complete just the way that it is. We come in and we try to circumvent the way that life is working. So I can tell you, for me, the challenges that have arisen in my life in the last 7-8 months, be it relationships, business, health, etc., I kind of just got out of the way mostly and just said, well, whatever is here is supposed to be here. And what's the point of the argument, right? Because ultimately, so many of the things that have come into my life that immediately seemed like challenges or like unwanted things, the things that I learned from them over a period of time usually ended up leading me to some of the best situations, beautiful things that have happened in my life. And vice versa, right? The things that came in as like blessings immediately oftentimes became the curses. Like, how many times have you met this person in your single life or while you were dating, and you thought it was absolutely a miraculous meeting, and then a few months later it's like a disaster relationship? Or you met the man or woman of your dreams, and a few years later you guys are divorced, and then you think you're going to be happy. You get divorced, you're still not happy, right? It's because you're just not allowing for the flow of life to be there. So yesterday we recorded a podcast with Stella Grisant, who we've done a few podcasts with in the past, and we love talking to her. We always feel like she's a sister from another mother. What's up, Vince? And if you guys want to check out any of our past podcasts or any of our podcasts, just head over to our website, SatoriPrime.com/podcast. But I loved the conversation yesterday because we were talking about the topic was, terrible. It's the Orlando shooting. But the reason we talked about it is because of all the bullshit that you hear in the news every time stuff like this happens. The same old garbage conversation, like, it happened and I'm sad about it like anybody else, and feel a lot of sympathy for the people who are dealing with that. But then the same conversation always starts, and the same rigmarole, and I just become resigned and cynical to listening to any of that shit because it doesn't go anywhere. And we really wanted to offer a different perspective, and with this allowing, and I'm not saying that no action should be taken in this third density living about trying to rein in and figure out why these situations are happening, but if we were to look at it from a bigger picture type of thing, like, I truly believe, and whatever your faith is and whatever your belief system is, I can't prove this, but I believe that everybody comes here with a purpose, with a reason, and that purpose and reason is chosen well before you got here. Sorry for the train noise in the background, right? So this guy came here. If I believe that, I need to also believe that this person came here with that in mind, like that's his soul's work. Now, some souls have to pick dark work, right? So whatever this guy did, or whoever he was, had to pick this kind of like dark work. But if we look at this in the long run, and let's suppose that out of his actions we finally take some spiritual solutions or some political solutions or some whatever solutions, and 5-10 years down the road there is an expansion of love, compassion, understanding on this planet that we could somehow correlate back to the actions this man took, we would then say that guy, in a weird way, achieved a major milestone in terms of our ability to ascend and transcend spirituality in this plane of reality. Now, again, none of us know. None of us really, truly know what the fuck is going on. And, we like to have an ego about it and pretend like we do, but we really don't. And we only have best guesses and educated guesses based on our experience and limited capacity to see what's really happening. So I just want to offer that if we were allowing, if we could be present, right? And isn't that what that means, to allow us to be present? Then I'm not saying let's not take actions consistent with this reality and see how to rein that stuff in and how we can manage it. But the solutions that you hear on the news is just so fucking ridiculous in terms of their ability to create any kind of solution. This stuff is going to come, guys, from grassroots movements, from spiritual movements, from enlightenment movements, of people just waking up and living inside of a context of having more compassion every single fucking day for your common man. That's the solution. If you think like making another law on top of the 7 million laws we already have is going to fix a guy walking into some place and shooting people, I mean, I think you're absolutely delusional. So let's talk about that, and then I'll leave it with this, right? The last thing here is, what's your context for living? Like, what is your why? Like, people talk about their why in their business, but let's talk about your why in your life. I wake up every single day. Here's my commitment to people, that if you speak to me, I'm going to leave you better than I found you, and I'm going to come from a place of compassion. Okay? And there are times where I don't feel compassionate, and there are times where I still feel like people are doing something to me, quote unquote, doing something to me that's wrong or unwanted or unneeded. But again, in this world of allowing, if I'm allowing everything, then who cares? Let those people do whatever they're supposed to be doing. Maybe I can't see why they're doing what they're doing right now, and it's perfect, whole, and complete in its action. And if I just stand inside my commitment, that commitment to be compassionate, that commitment to leave people better than I found them, no matter what the conversation is, no matter what the situation is, even in those moments, if I can remember those two things, allow for this to be here, here's my commitment, here's why I am, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing, here's how I'm doing it, here's what I'm going to do about it, it always reins my ego in and allows me to come back to a place of just saying, fuck, I don't know why this is happening right now, but you know what? I'm going to stand inside of my commitment, and I'm not going to be so attached to the way that I think the world needs to look. And inside of that, guys, I've just allowed the world to unfold the way that it's going to unfold, and it's going to do that whether or not I want it to. So to either, what's the point of getting in the trap? What's the point of fighting against that stream all the time? Just align yourself with it. Figure out what it is that you're committed to, whether it's for yourself or with people. Stand inside of that commitment like a fucking idiot. Just stand inside of that commitment just because that's what your heart wants. And whatever comes to you in this life, allow for it to be there. So guys, today what I'll leave you with is just if you haven't done this work on yourself, number one, go pick up one of Michael Singer's books. They're phenomenal and super insightful. Number two is just get in the habits of looking at what are your conversations about, should, would, could. Are you letting those conversations run your life when people are speaking to you or circumstances show up? And lastly, and maybe this is the hardest one, is what is your why? What do you stand for every day when you wake up? What are you committed to in every communication that you have with other people? And if you really identify those things and give them language, I promise you, they're going to start impacting your life and the life of those around you every single day. With that said, guys, to people who are dealing with this heinous shit that's happened, I'm sending you a lot of love. I'm sure a lot of other people are too. And let's all work together to create a world that's more compassionate, more loving, and has more understanding. And just let's not presume that we know why the things on this planet are happening, but let's be committed for and stand together for a planet that has more understanding and more communication and more love. All right, guys, have a wonderful Thursday. I love you. Take care.